All right, three, two, one. Hello, and welcome back to another Skating Penguin Network podcast. Snail coming at you with another game recap. Got a doubleheader for you guys. The Penguins taking on the Arizona Coyotes first, and then kicking off the first game of the Dad's trip up in Montreal. Both these teams are pesky. This is not the Coyotes of old. They're in a playoff spot currently, and a lot of these young studs, these first round picks, these third overall picks, some of these guys, these young players, they've just had kind of marinating, whether it was in their farm system or on the Coyotes, are starting to really kind of push through. Coached by Andre Tourny down there, that he's got them playing hard for him. So this is not the Coyotes of old. They can take 2 points on from you, and they're a good hockey team. So the Penguins actually win this game and take 2 points from them at home. Logan Cooley making his first appearance back home in his home state of Pennsylvania in Pittsburgh, taking on Sidney Crosby. Got to be a big game for him. And without further ado, let's kind of get into the goal scoring here. This is something we haven't said in a while. Jake Gensel scores, gets the goal scoring started off here on a power play goal assisted by Sidney Crosby. This ends a 0 for 37 drought, believe it or not. The last time they scored a power play goal was on November 11th. So it has been a while, and we're happy to see one finally go in here. Beautiful goal. Soiled very quickly after by Lawson Krause, great player for the Arizona Coyotes. He ties it up 1-1 on a power play of their own. And then the Coyotes kind of they keep it going here with Matias Michelli. He puts them up 2-1 on another power play. Uh, not looking good. Penalty kill not coming through for the Penguins, but no fear, for Jeff Carter is here. Jeff Carter ties it up 2-2 with a backhander on a shorthanded breakaway. Never thought I'd be saying that in this day and age, but here I am saying that. And Jeff Carter was not done for the night. He actually is net front. Another thing that's ailed the Penguins. He's net front on the power play, and Chris Letang shoots one right in his wheelhouse, and he gets a tip on it. Puts the Penguins up 3-2. And then Gensel seals the deal with an empty netter for a 4-2 final. Quite the shot discrepancy in this game, with Jari making 19 saves and that Connor Ingram making 40 saves on a losing effort. So uh, the Penguins kind of put it to them here in the later parts of the game, and it's great to see that scoring depth coming through. Great to see the power play can work, and it's not just a lost cause. This is a team that can beat you at the end of the day, and they took 2 points, and then it was off to Montreal to kick off the first game of the Dad's trip. It, this game again, it's the Habs. They're not in a playoff spot. I think it's in their best interest to not be a playoff team. I think they're looking for another high pick if they could. They've been in a bit of a retooling for a little while now. It seems all ever since that cup run they had, losing to Tampa in one of those COVID years. So let's get into the goal scoring here. I think David Savard, I want to say Dennis Savard. I think it's David Savard, playing in just his seventh game of the season, kicks off the scoring for the Canadians. With 7:39 left in the first, this kid Struble gets on the board, makes it 2-0. But then, oh, Captain, my Captain Sid gets on the board, fluttering one past Montembeau. But Monahan ruins this moment not long after by poking one past Nedeljkovic to make it 3-1 in the second period. And here's that power play talk again. Gensel gets a pass from Sid and fires it past Montembeau, making it 3-2 at 5:36 in the middle period. Jake's 13th of the year. And then look at this here. We get the Penguins on another power play chance. And Sid gets one past Montembeau for his second of the night. And it's all tied up. After a scoreless third period and somewhat dicey OT, the Penguins had to kill a penalty. I feel like it was in the last, the waning minutes of the overtime period, but the penalty kill comes up big. And we move on to the shootout, where things get a little bit dramatic. A lot of goal scoring attempts here in the shootout. But it gets kicked off quickly. Nick Suzuki, sick deke, gets it past Ned, but Letang matches that. It's tied up in the first inning of the shootout. Uh, Cole Caulfield almost perfectly mirrors Nick's shootout attempt and buries one past Ned. But then Crosby says thank you very much and lifts one over Montembeau's blocker. And then the next shooters, it's Jesse Elonen, I think is his name. Jesse Elonen, and he hits one off off the post, and Jake Gensel, he hits one off the post right after that as well. The next goal scorers we see after that, we see Joel Armia, Riley Smith, Christian Dvorak, Eric Carlson, only to get to former longtime Calgary Flame Sean Monahan, who gets one past Ned, but answered immediately by former Hab Lars Eller. So again, we are all tied up, and the list continues here. I'll read them off here. It's Michael Pezzetta, and then we got our new found gem in Pustonen, Jake Evans, Radim Zahorna, Brendan Gallagher, Vinny Hinostroza, Josh Anderson, and then finally, the unforeseen hero of this shootout, especially when you get this deep into any lineup, Jansen Harkins ends the evening, and the dads go crazy. The shootout is over. The Penguins take 2 points, 4 points in 2 games. They win both of the back to back. It's great to see. It's great to see the depth coming through. It's great to see that the power play is not just this irreparable, sweltering wound. It can work. Sid's looking great. Yeah, it 2 big points in that game. You know, I could have easily seen in the past maybe the Pens don't kill off that penalty in overtime. They're historically not a great shootout team. Uh, you're just happy to see them come out of this, and they need to get every point is so important for this team right now. I think one thing that the Penguins need to kind of keep doing over these even if it goes, just get it to overtime. 1 point is better than none. But if possible, you're hoping that that their special teams can really be a factor now, and the depth. There's been there's some injuries, and there's been this rotating kind of core of bottom six depth players. Hopefully, some of these guys can kind of really find some rhythm and keep things a little bit more consistent. The Penguins move on to play Toronto in Toronto, and this will be Dubas's first game back in where it all started for him in the NHL. I'm sure that's going to be totally chill, and the Toronto media is not going to make that bigger than it needs to be. Of course, it's going to be bigger than it needs to be. I'm extremely excited to see all of the opinions in the chatter with him coming into the building. If you remember, this is when last time he was in there, he was still the GM. And then it quickly turned out that he was no longer the GM. He said you don't expect him to pop up anywhere else. He's going to take some time. And then he was courted by the Penguins, the Pittsburgh organization, and he ends up saying this seems like home here. So I'm sure Toronto didn't take that personally or anything. They have Brad Treliving now, and he's stuck with that mess up there with the media and the core four and the not winning a playoff round since God knows when. So I'm sure this will be a hilarious weekend with all sorts of hot takes and awesome comments from Toronto media. But until then, yeah, it's no games Thursday, no games Friday, games Saturday. And then we will be back with you for a mailbag recording. Look for the tweet that goes out on Sunday. We record Monday. It drops Tuesday. Typically a two-parter where we do the second one Thursday again. All will resume as normal. And until then, go Pens.